What up, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. I am so glad that you are here and you're investing a little bit of your time in upgrading your knowledge when it comes to how to raise money with a crowdfunding campaign. So this is really my passion. This is my labor of love. This is my magnum opus, right? They're gonna be talking about when I'm 80 years old and still putting out videos. So thank you so much. And in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about how to actually grow a brand on Kickstarter, going through some of the major tenets of brand building when it comes to this. And growing a brand is very different from starting a brand. I actually have another video out there on that, but we're getting into this today. Hope you enjoy it. Buckle up your seatbelts because there's gonna be a ton of value I'm delivering in today's video. Okay, again, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified channel. Again, my name is Sal. So I want to talk about this and kind of some of the elements you have to go through in order to grow this brand. And that being said, if you haven't yet, go and check out some of the other videos I got out there on YouTube. Go and check out my podcast as well, where I'm speaking with real world individuals. I got a podcast I publish on iTunes. People love to listen to it there because they can listen on the way to work. They can listen while they're doing their dishes. They can listen while they're doing other stuff, right? And even going jogging, etc. So make sure you listen to the podcast on iTunes. I'll include a link down below. But that being said, let's kind of get into this thing. Some of the major tenets in order to grow a brand on Kickstarter if you already are doing a campaign. So the first thing that you should know about brand building is that it's a lot about perception. And that's really the beginning of brand building. So I kind of want you to think of this as a multi-stage process, right? So you're going through this multi-stage process in the same way, it's almost like dating, which is a weird analogy, right? It's kind of like dating. It's kind of like almost building a friendship as well. It's a multi-stage process, and it's really about relationships. And the thing here is that it's a relationship between you as a brand and, of course, all of your followers, all the people that are supporting your campaign. If you've done any things right when I talk about in the Kickstarter launch formula, you obviously already are getting people, tons of people supporting your Kickstarter campaign. So when it comes to this, it's really a relationship, a one-to-many relationship. But here's the secret. There's also a relationship between your community. The followers are communicating as well with each other. So the first one is the perception, okay? So brand perception, I go this in depth when it comes to actually building a new brand, and I got another video out there on that. And so that perception could be things related to how does it feel, word association, colors, fonts, the look and the feel of the actual product. What do you stand for? What are your higher order, vision? What are some of your objectives? What are your values? Those different things. How do you want to impact the world? That's really your perception, right, of a brand. But that's really just where it starts. So this is kind of like the tip of the iceberg. And there's this whole massive iceberg, right, which is underneath the water. So what are some of the things that are actually underneath the water? Well, one of them is actually your beginning interactions with potential customers. You're beginning interactions with backers of Kickstarter campaigns. You're beginning interactions with people who might be interested, be on, for example, your social media list, or they're part of your community in some way. They haven't just yet taken action. So your actual brand values, your ethos, they're going to be looking and seeing, is this consistent through your communications? Are you doing Kickstarter updates, for example? Are you answering questions that are being posted when it comes to the comment section? Are you answering questions on social media? Or are you not even doing that, right? And you're just kind of very standoffish, or are you answering it in a not so great way? This is the same kind of example where maybe you have a date, for example, and like the person is very attractive and they look great, but all of a sudden you start talking to them and you realize like something's kind of off, right? So you really want to be consistent with the perception. So if you have perception, you already got that, you got their attention, they're backing, you want to make sure that you're building that relationship through your individual interactions, through social media, through the comments, through posting updates on an occasional basis, sending emails, all those different things. You're kind of following through with that initial promise. The next component, when we're talking about like this iceberg and going even deeper, we're going deeper into the waters of brand building, is really kind of understanding how to actually follow through with proof when it comes to your credibility is almost tested. So I would basically just say this is like following through with your promises if you want a really easy way to understand. So it's really just following through with the initial promises that you make. So what could be some of those promises, for example? That could be related to stretch goals. That could be related to new things that you're announcing. That could be just keeping your word in general when it comes to your fulfillment timeline. Really making sure that you're staying with the promises that you make. You aren't veering off the vision of your brand. For example, if you have a brand that's trying to build, sustainable products, and there's an example of a product you made in the past that wasn't sustainable, that's kind of conflicting in nature, and you might even need to explain that. So for example, I was working on one campaign, and I'm not going to talk about, who actually this campaign belonged to, but there was some kind of conflicting information that actually led to a little bit of a media fiasco with this product. And I had to kind of get this, under assuage or like massage this and make sure that everything went fine. And eventually it was fine, but you want to make sure that your message as a brand is being consistent, right? And you do that by really showing that there's proof in the pudding. You want to show that, you You want to show that you're adhering to your promises, whether that's related to stretch goals or announcements, or just the things that you put out there. If you're going to be doing something, do it, right? Really try to follow through, really try to keep yourself to your promises. The next component when you're going down this kind of iceberg, if you will, the analogy that we're going with is transparency. And why is transparency important? We talk a lot about transparency. Transparency is important for trust building over time. So for example, if you're with someone and they aren't being very transparent, and you guys both have a stake when it comes to you're building a relationship together, right? Or in the course of a brand, you're trying to go somewhere together, you're trying to have this community join you in this pursuit or help you with your mission. If you're not being transparent, what does it do? It undermines trust. And people then begin to question, I don't know, like maybe other things are happening as well, and they begin to doubt your intentions. The more transparent that you can be about things as they're coming up, whether that's an issue with manufacturing or an issue with your campaign in some way, or something that you're going through, right, that's going to impact the delivery, the more transparent you can be, the more that it builds trust. Now, when I put this out there, I've done a lot of different coaching calls over the years. We talk about this on my podcast as well. We talk about this with my readers of my books, etc., the students, long-term coaching. Transparency is scary. It is scary, I'm telling you. Being vulnerable in that way and being transparent is very scary for a beginning business owner or for someone who's even a creator. And the reason why is that they've been attacked previously in their life. And a lot of the times we kind of compare crowdfunding with e-commerce, but they're actually very different things, right? Because if you're doing e-commerce, people are expecting to buy the product and get it in 2 days, right? If you're doing it on Amazon. With this, they're really trusting you over a long period of time to deliver on your promises, to deliver on your rewards, and they know it's gonna take time, right? So if you be transparent, it's much better than trying to just push everything under the rug and then maybe being delayed and not announcing that to people. The more transparent you can be over a long process, the more likely it is to build trust, which is going to grow and enhance the strength of your brand. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillment is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillment today. Link in the description. The next part of this process is really about the journey, right? So why is this important when it comes to growing a brand? The more that you can involve people on the journey as this brand grows, when it comes to maybe opening new locations, when it comes to developing new products or thinking of new ideas, the more you can involve people in the story, it actually makes them have a sense of ownership with that story. And I was kind of thinking about an analogy for this. There are analogies in my own life. For example, like people saw me when I just started my YouTube channel and now I have like tons of subscribers, right? Or people saw me start the podcast when I was really not so great at talking with people, and interview them in any kind of way, and then be like, this is so cool how you've been able to grow in this way. So we love to champion other people, particularly people that we like. And I think a great analogy to this is sports teams, right? When you go and you are actually going to a sporting event, let's say you're going to football, right? Or you're going to basketball, or you're going to some kind of other event, you're going to baseball, right? You love to go there. You just like to watch your team, and you love to cheer on when they're having a great time, right? And you kind of commiserate with them when it's not going so well. And it's just a fun experience to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And you're maybe not the person who's in the ring, right? But you're cheering on your side, and you're really a part of their victories. You're also a part of the times when they're going through difficult times. And when they're able to struggle through that as well and see victory at the end, it's almost like the entire crowd just wants to jump up and celebrate that moment and go bananas, right? Depending on which actually, the place that you're from. I grew up around Boston, around there, and man, people are obviously crazy about their sports teams there. So it's the same thing. The more you can involve people in your journey, the more you can involve them in the story which is unfolding. They feel like they're a part of your team. They feel like you're the one who's maybe in the ring, but they're also watching from the sidelines and they're cheering you on. And that helps to actually grow the relationship over time and grow the actual strength of your brand. The other thing I want to mention on this video is the concept of identity and how that actually grows when it comes to your brand, and how that actually can lead to actually a brand that I think is being extremely propelled when it comes to a Kickstarter campaign. So with the Kickstarter campaign, there are different phases throughout your campaign. So there's interaction phase, obviously, there's fulfillment of promises, these different things, right? But there's also the communications and the things that you choose to acknowledge or the things that you choose to say. I've worked on different campaigns, for example, where someone decides to celebrate a particular day. For example, they decide to a certain holiday or recognizing a certain cultural minority in some way, using their product and using their company as kind of a vehicle for doing that. So there are different ways in which you can actually connect with the identity of your followers. And that's obviously a very personal decision. Not every business wants to get political. Not every business wants to actually integrate that into their ethos. Not every business has a vision, right, that they want to do. But if you really want to grow a brand over time, you want to have a personality for your brand, you want to stand for certain core things, why not consider involving the identity of the people that are actually supporting you in some kind of way, whether that's relating to your messages, the things that you choose to acknowledge, the positive messages that you choose to put out on your posts, on your emails, doing any kind of status updates on your social media, all of that kind of stuff. Why not choose to also, align with the identity of your followers if it's really something that you do believe in? Now, I know that when I first heard this and other people out there, like, you know what, that's such BS. Like, people really don't care. They know that's not true. I'm telling you, this actually works. And the reason is that a brand isn't just something that's like random out there, right? It's not just an alien or something. There are actually people that stand behind this brand. The brand is larger than just your name or just some kind of wording or just some kind of font or anything like that. There are people who are actually working at that company. So the brand represents the people that are working at this organization, the team that's been built. So it's almost like this brand is speaking for them in a way. So when you see a company who's honoring a particular holiday, or they're actually talking to the identity of the people and saying that by buying this product, you're this certain type of person, it's really playing to the identity. It's almost saying we are similar, right? We both want these kinds of things to exist in the world. We both care about craftsmanship. We both care about functionality and things doing the right job for the job that it's designed to do, right? The more you can really talk to the identity of your community, you can get the community interacting with each other as well through different techniques. This is an easy way to grow your brand on Kickstarter and beyond. So if you found this to be illuminating or interesting at all, definitely want to check out my free course on Kickstarter down below. You can go through this in step-by-step fashion, really, attacking the entire problem one bite at a time. Very easy, very step-by-step, meant to really be there to demystify the entire process. So go and check out my free course on Kickstarter down below. In addition, I got a great book out there called the Kickstarter Launch Formula. It's taken me a long time to put together, and I put together this in really a paint-by-numbers formula. So kind of almost like a step-by-step fashion, but it's really also codified so you can listen to it if you want to. The way to work, you can listen to this while you're working. If you also want to, you don't like your job or something like that, right? So you can listen to this on Audible. You can get a free 30-day trial of Audible. You get a free copy of the book, which I will link up down below for the Kickstarter Launch Formula. I also got a paperback version. I have every once in a while people will send me on Instagram like a photo. They're reading the paperback version. I'm like, this is so freaking cool. I love being able to impact people in that way. So if you decide to do that, that is really cool. And I usually repost some of those photos. So I am on Instagram. You can check me out on Salvador Briggman. I think it's crowdcrush.Salvador Briggman. You can go and check me up there. But thank you so much for coming to this video. I hope that at least kindled a little bit of thinking about this in a different way. I hope that you're a little bit inspired. You're kind of feeling excited about doing a campaign, and this is way more than just launching a campaign. This is launching an entire foundation, which you're going to grow from into the future when it comes to new products, new ideas, and the more that you understand this system and this process, you can launch more and more ideas into the world, which is so freaking cool. It's like a freaking catapult. You're launching these ideas out there, and it's so cool in that way. So I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Sal, and I will see you next time.